Hello guys, and welcome back to Rossoneri TV for yet another video of me recapping the latest AC Milan news and rumors that went on throughout the week. It was a very busy and exciting week for the Rossoneri as new players arrived as well as new players leaving, and we'll be recapping all of this in today's episodes. As usual, make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section below, and we will be reading them in the later stages of the video. Now, of course, yesterday big news happened with Bonucci. Bonucci arriving to Milan. Of course, not many people were expecting this with the initial reports of this even being mentioned. It was kind of something that was more absurd to even hear, and it wasn't really taken as something legitimate. But in the end, it is true. Bonucci has arrived to Milan. He has been already passing his medicals. He will be signing his contract very shortly, but it will be a 5-year contract, and I believe he will be earning around somewhere 7 to 7.5 million euros a season, which will make him possibly the highest paid player in the Serie A. So this is definitely very exciting news for all the Rossoneri fans out there. And he will also be captain of the team. And that's, to me at least, is the biggest news. Because, you know, someone coming in with his experience, his leadership, and his role really is something that we need at the club. Something that was missing, especially with Montolivo. You know, no one really wanted him to stay at the club as the captain. Right now, yes, he is remaining. He's still a Milan player, but definitely his role, now that also Bia will be coming in, which I'll be speaking about in just a few moments, is definitely not the biggest role that he was expecting to have in this new season. So I'm very happy about Bonucci coming in. Like I said, he's a man with great experience in the Serie A, one of the top center backs in Europe, and I'm very happy that he will be paired up with Romagnoli. And I know a lot of you guys are currently questioning yourselves, but what's happening with Musacchio? What's happening with the whole formation thing? And personally, I believe it's going to be a change of formation every now and then. I'm not really sure with which formation Montella is going to go with exactly. It might be the 3-5-2, it might be 4 in the back with a 4-3-3, a 4-3-1-2, God knows. But you could definitely change the formation around, and I think that's the beauty of all these players being signed to Milan now. You know, we have a lot more choice, a lot more quality, a lot more unpredictability, something that Milan was unfortunately exposed to more than anything last season. They were becoming way too predictable, especially against opponents, of lower table opponents, where, you know, they always used to play in the same way, and this used to facilitate the task of other teams. So I'm very happy to see all these new additions coming in, of course, as we should. But Bonucci, to me, is a very big statement, not only to the Milan fans, which have been requesting for top signings this summer, but also to the rest of the Serie A. Finally making a statement there, telling the rest of the Serie A that, look, we are Milan, we are here to fight and possibly win the Scudetto next year, but there's still definitely a lot of work to be done. There's still new players that should be coming in, and really, it's really gonna happen whether Montella is able to gel this team quick enough or not. In my opinion, yes, all these people came in, all these new players came in, but Montella still has a big job on his hands to gel the chemistry of this team together, and I think he definitely will face another challenge this season, and that is to make all these new signings gel together and play to their top potential. But let's move on to another player that will be signing very soon and shortly for Milan, and that is, of course, Lukas B. Yeah, he's already at Milan performing his medicals as we speak, and he should be signing his contract soon afterwards. Now, it's not really for sure exactly what the transfer fee will be, but it's supposed to be in the vicinity of 20 million euros. A pretty good price for a player like him that, once again, like Bonucci, I believe brings leadership to the team, and He will definitely be replacing Montolivo. I'm not sure if Montolivo will be even having a starting spot in this team anymore. But definitely with the arrival of Bia, the only thing you could definitely imagine is that he will be taking his spot in the midfield. So very happy about this signing as well. And like I said, it should be announced in the coming hours for Bia and Milan. Now, moving on, of course, I want to speak about certain players that Milan is currently looking to add to the roster, and one of them is Renato Sanches, currently playing for Bayern Munich, 19 years old, won the Euro with Portugal last summer, and he actually joined Bayern Munich last summer on a reported fee of 35 million euros. Now, Milan is currently in talks with Bayern Munich regarding the player for a 2-year loan plus option to buy. However, Bayern Munich have refused this option. Of course, it's still one of their jewels, one of the players that they might want to include in this year's season, in this season's how could I say, like, continuation, because really what it is, like Milan, they're gonna be playing in different competitions. They're gonna want to rotate their squad and so forth. So definitely Renato Sanches might be one of the options that Bayern Munich want to hold on. But what's important here is that initial talks have already started for the player. And, you never know, Milan might be adding this new jewel to the team, a young option. And like I said, these players might not all be starters in Milan, but what we do also need is depth. So if I have a guy like Renato Sanches, 19-year-old, that we could get on a 2-year loan deal, and that could be coming on as a power sub, who knows, during the course of the games, and he will do a very good job. These are the type of players that I want in my team, even if he's not going to be playing every match, even if he's going to be on the bench waiting for the perfect opportunity. Also, another player that we are still in heavy talks with is, of course, Andrea Bellotti from Torino. Probably the biggest wish Milan fans have had for a few months was Bellotti, and what we could confirm with you is that Milan are continuing talks with Torino, and they have now offered them 45 million euros with Paletta and Yang also to be included in the deal. Now, this offer is still far from what the Torino president wants, of course, with the 100 million buyout clause that is set on the player. Even for clubs outside of Italy, it's still nowhere near what Torino could potentially get for the player, and that's why Milan is not necessarily close to reaching an agreement with Torino. But of course, these talks are always pleasing, as we are not only trying to get the player, but we are trying to offer even more. So hopefully the Torino president could accept this offer. So we definitely remain optimistic, and hopefully a move, possible arrival for the Gallo could actually arrive this summer. Now, with all these players coming in, we also have to say goodbye to a few, because of course the roster size needs to shrink, and unfortunately Lapadula will be joining Genoa on an initial loan for 2 million euros with an obligation to buy for 11 afterwards. Now, he's expected to sign a 5-year contract with them. And I said unfortunately before, because in my opinion, Lapadula, even though he only played a season with us, and we were all very excited when he did join us from Pescara, I think that Lapadula was always a work ethic type of player, very professional, even though he wasn't getting much playing time, even though Bacca was preferred to him oftentimes when Lapadula definitely deserved a chance to play. He always came out with great professionalism, always tried very hard, and of course, how we could forget all those last-minute goals from Lapadula that I believe if it wasn't for his goals, we wouldn't even have been in Europe at the moment. So I'm very happy for Lapadula that he will be, of course, joining Genoa, finding more playing time, and potentially be one of their starters. But I'm also definitely sad that, such a player with his work ethic will be leaving Milan. But we definitely wish a very good season to Lapadula. And another player that will be joining Genoa, of course, is Bertolacci. He will be going there on a season-long loan deal. Not sure if Genoa will buy him back afterwards, but this is, I guess, a reason for Bertolacci to reintegrate into a starting spot, into a squad. Of course, Bertolacci already played for Genoa in the past, so I think this could be a very good move for Bertolacci to find that playing time, maybe find that rhythm that he was missing in these past few years at Milan, of course, which was recovered with injuries and so forth, so he wasn't really capable of getting all that playing time that he wanted. But this, I believe, is a very good option. Like I said, Bertolacci will be going to a club where he's going to be getting playing time, and maybe after the loan deal, he could return to Milan, maybe in better shape, maybe as a different player, I'm not sure, but what's for sure is that he will be joining Genoa for this season. And finally, I did want to speak about some team news. Of course, the team is currently in China. They have landed overnight as they will be playing in the International Champions Cup friendlies where they will be playing against Dortmund in just a few days. But also, the third qualifying draw was had taken place yesterday for the Europa League, and Milan will be facing CSU Craiova, of course, a Romanian club, which personally I've never heard of before, but we will be playing them over a two-legged affair, which will be taking place on July 27th and August 3rd. Of course, this is the third qualifying round, and if we do proceed after this, we will be facing another team in the playoff round before potentially reaching the group stages of the competition. That pretty much wraps up the news I wanted to speak about, guys. Of course, now it's your turn to share your thoughts with me in the comments section below, and I'll be reading your thoughts for the next few minutes. Very curious to see what you guys think about our new acquisitions, both Bonucci and Bia, and also what do you think about the players leaving, Lapadula and Bertolacci? Are you agreeing with the fact that they are moving to Genoa or not? Let me know your thoughts as well on the upcoming transfer targets. Of course, Bellotti and Renato Sanches, as well as any other name that you possibly heard in the news that I haven't mentioned. So let's get into the comment section, guys, right away. Let's read your thoughts. RK Garsh says, what do you think about giving Bonucci the armband when Bonaventura deserved it, depending on how he played for us in the last few seasons? And your thoughts on Aubameyang or Bellotti coming to Milan and Renato Sanches? Well, I already spoke about these players in the past few minutes. Like I said, Bellotti, one of the many wishes for the Milanisti. Renato Sanches as well, very young option with lots and lots of potential. So definitely they will be welcoming options. But as far as Bonucci's captain armband goes, I think it could definitely be some sort of agreement, some sort of deal that Milan made with the player before him joining the club. You know, they probably told him, look, come to us, we'll make you a captain, you will lead the example on the team, on the field. And, you know, Bonucci said, why not? I wasn't having the best of times at Juventus, especially this season, as I had several confrontations with Allegri and the management, so I could definitely welcome this option. So this might have been part of the deal, but either way, I understand the frustration with Bonaventura not getting the captain armband. I just believe that Bonucci, with the experience that he has, especially with Juventus over these past 5-6 years where he has won really everything with them besides the Champions League, of course, I think that is a very good option to have. You know, I think we all need someone, especially in the back line, to give that presence to the field, because as we all know, everything starts from the back. With Gigio Donnarumma being there, Bonucci commanding the lot of the defense with many new arrivals there, I think we need a very good presence, especially in the defense. Then after that, you know, we still have guys that, like Bonaventura, still have their presence felt on the pitch each and every game. So just because they don't have the captain armband, to me, it doesn't really mean much. It's more of a something to show off, I guess you could say. But I think, you know, the players that show their leadership on the field, whether they're wearing the armband or not, they will show it. So that's my take on the whole thing. Who do I prefer, says Beryl, Aubameyang or Bellotti? This is definitely the million-dollar question. Many people ask me this several times a week. Personally, you know, I think Aubameyang is a very proven striker. In Europe, he scores many goals. I would definitely love to have Bellotti as well. I wish I could have both, to be honest. But, you know, it's tough to decide because Bellotti is a guy that has shown very good things in Italy. Even though he might be the future of Italy, I think Aubameyang has something more at this moment than Bellotti. But like I said, I definitely wouldn't be upset with any of these two players coming. If Aubameyang comes in, I'll be happy. If Bellotti comes in, I'll be happy. It just doesn't matter who comes into me. I'm not a type of guy that's there to decide, oh, who I would want instead of the other. You know, if two players are world-class levels, like both of them, I definitely wouldn't mind choosing one or the other. Omar Ryan says, any updates on Suso? I think he's a very exciting player, but I do feel like we need a bigger player for the wing in the future. At the moment, Suso, you know, he's shown very good things with a mediocre squad last season, providing so many assists and goals. I think he did a very good job, and now with even better players surrounding him, I think his game could expand even more. And he's getting multiple offers from different leagues around Europe, and, you know, this just shows that Suso is one of those players that is definitely very requested and demanded by many clubs. So I think that, you know, Suso rejected many offers this summer already, and Milan did so as well. Therefore, I believe that Suso, of course, will be remaining at Milan at least for next season, and I think he's gonna have a very impactful season if he could stay healthy. Of course, like I said, on the right wing, fortunately last season he was playing every game and then he suffered an injury. So I think we need some more, you know, a replacement for him as well to have on the bench rather than him just playing every game. So, you know, hopefully Suso stays, but someone else comes as well. Montella says the Milanisti, Morata or Bellotti, give us more money so we can get them both. That's a very funny comment, actually. Like I said, if we can get both of those guys, that'll be amazing. If Aubameyang comes in, that'll be even more amazing. But at the moment, as long as we get someone that's worthy up front, I really wouldn't mind. And like I said, we definitely need someone else. Like I said a few weeks ago with the center back thing, where I said in the defense, I would definitely get another center back. And then out of nowhere, Bonucci came out. Well, that's exactly what I'm saying for the strikers there. We need someone else to complement Andre Silva, as Bacca will most likely leave. So we're definitely going to have to see about that. Glenn Velasco says Suso will shine this season even with this new team. And of course, like I said before, with this new team, I'm expecting even bigger things for Suso with more talent around him. Players with higher quality, he definitely cannot go wrong. Love for Milan says, what do you think about Kalinic? Right now, he's not one of my preferred options, and I don't think we're really going towards getting Kalinic. I think what Milan really want is focusing all their attention on Aubameyang or Bellotti. They will have upcoming meetings with their respective agents and teams in the coming days. So maybe the next 2 weeks could be very, very crucial for one of these two players to come in. But Kalinic is not one of those players that I would personally consider. Macron only says, will Juve still win the league next year despite losing players like Bonucci and Dani Alves? Well, personally, I think that Juve has always dealt quite fairly, even when they did lose players like that summer, I think a few years ago when they lost Vidal, Pirlo, and so forth. They still managed to come back and win the league. Even though they had a terrible, terrible start, they managed to make a tremendous comeback and win the league. So you can never count Juventus out, even with players such as Bonucci and Dani Alves leaving. They still have a lot of potential, still a lot of, you know, top names at the club that can make a difference and win them games every weekend. So personally, I think that Juventus will still have a fight for the title, but definitely with teams strengthening themselves such as Milan, Napoli and Roma still pushing hard on Juve, it will be a tougher season altogether for Juventus, that's for sure. What do I think about Locatelli being linked to Juve, says Petrit. Personally, I don't think there's anything too concrete in this. I don't think Locatelli will be making the move. For various reasons. First of all, Locatelli needs playing time, and at the moment, I don't think he's going to be getting much playing time at Milan. But you could expect him to be a rotational player. He's going to be playing games where, you know, sometimes either Kessie or Bia, whoever's playing in the midfield needs some rotation, and Locatelli will be coming in. Expect him to be some sort of sub coming into the second half this season. Of course, with 3 competitions on our hands, with the Europa League, Serie A, and the Coppa Italia, you could expect a lot of rotation to be made, and that is why Milan is focusing on buying multiple players. We are at, what, 9-10 signings already this summer? Milan didn't really want to focus this on 4-5 top exclusive signings this summer. They wanted to get as many players as possible because they also want to add to their depth. Of course, like I said, rotation is going to be very important this season with so many competitions on our hands. So what's important here is that guys like Locatelli, if Renato Sanches comes in, for example, these will be the perfect bench rotational players to have in games where, you know, either our current starting 11 players are fatigued or just cannot play. Do I think AC Milan can win the league, says Ali Zaki? Definitely, but it all depends really on how fast this team manages to gel together and build that chemistry. Like I said previously, it's very nice to see all these players arrive at the club, but it's going to take time for them to gel and build that chemistry. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not something that we can just expect to come out like out of the blue. It's something that's going to take work, and that's why you know, these preseason friendlies, for example, are even there. That's why they're present, for these players to get to know each other, and the players are training very hard. I think B and Bonucci will also be making the trip to China in the next few days. So, you know, definitely I'm very happy that all these players came in. We can win the league, but it all really depends on how Milan, you know, manages to find that chemistry in the early goings. And of course, we have some very significant fixtures coming up ahead. Like I said, with the 3rd qualifying round draw being made yesterday, and we are playing CSU Craiova. After that, with the playoff round possibly being before the start of the Serie A season. There's definitely a lot of fixtures coming up in the next few weeks, and we need to be careful, take advantage of that, and be ready for when the Serie A season starts. Morsov says, what about the negotiations with Aubameyang? Do you think he will accept our offer? Well, you know, I was actually reading an interesting tweet from last year where Aubameyang said he was speaking to Galliani and everything. Of course, those were different times where Milan was financially incapable of buying him. But he said if there's one team he will return to, it would be Milan. Now, you know, you could take those words, consider them, not consider them. It's really up to you guys. But, you know, I think right now what he's demanding in wages is a lot of money. Milan is not definitely willing to satisfy his request for wages, but they're still, you know, sending him significant amounts of wages per season, 7-8 million, something like that, which is definitely a lot, way more than what he's earning right now at Dortmund with 3.5 million per year. So yeah, definitely it's something that, you know, Aubameyang could accept, he could not accept. It all really depends on what his will is to arrive to Milan. Volcano Game says, Gio, according to you, how much budget we have left? That's a very interesting question. I don't know exactly how much budget we have left. It all really depends with possible sales, of course, as well, with Bacca possibly leaving. Maybe we can make 20 million off that. If Deschio leaves, another, I don't know, 10-15 million on that. I think right now Milan is not definitely worrying about the budget. They're just trying to go all out and sign as many players as possible. But we have definitely spent a lot of money already, more than 120 million euros. So definitely, I don't know how much more we have, but it all really depends on sales as well. Marcello says, I had a slight feeling that Fassone's surprise could possibly be Ibra coming on a short contract. It could be, but I'm not too sure about it, to be honest. It could be someone else. One or two more questions before I sign off. Abu Fatima says, I still need a few more players as backup. What do you think about it? Like I said, definitely. We definitely need more backup players to have on the bench. Good, solid backup players. And like Molto Evil said in this press conference today, he said that what we do need is 22, 23 starters. Players that are used to play as starters, but they're, you know, ready to accept the fact that they could be sitting on the bench a bit and rotate with the others. We need exactly that. We need starter players that are willing to stay on the bench and just add to the depth. The Milanese says, Bonaventura is coming off a big injury. Gio, do you think he'll have a good season? I definitely think so. Bonaventura is a guy that, you know, knows how to come back into these situations and knows how to work very hard, and I think he will regain his form in a matter of time. Really, it's definitely not a problem for me. Alright guys, that's gonna wrap it up for the questions. Thank you all for joining me today on this live stream where I recap the latest AC Milan news and rumors. As always guys, please make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything going on at the club. Many videos will be coming out with a lot more happening at Milan. So make sure you hit on that subscribe button. Make sure you click on the like button as well if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to comment and share the video to social media if you enjoyed it as well. And I would like to give one last shout out to one of my buddies that's actually watching from Avellino today. Of course, Davide Mangiarotta. He's gonna be he's gonna actually be making an appearance here, and also his brother, Elias Cacciascatola, you might know him as well. You know, these guys are top guys and they might actually be making an appearance on the channel very soon. So keep your eyes peeled for them. Thank you guys for joining me once again. This has been Gio signing off. And as always, Forza Milan.